Get a Job in Tech, episode 441, how to become a network engineer. So basically what do you need to do to become a network engineer? What are the starting points? So I have basically 10 things to get you on a path to being a network engineer. First one is find yourself a nice place to study and learn about network fundamentals. So you're going to learn about OSI model, TCP/IP model. You're going to learn about routers and switches. So just Google what is a router, what is a switch. Number 2, network protocols. The core protocols to learn are TCP, UDP. And the application layer protocols are HTTP, HTTPS, and DHCP, DNS. And some of the other protocols to learn, SNMP, ICMP, ARP. Number 3, routing and switching. This is going to take the bulk of your time. And to become a network engineer, you're probably going to need 2 years, perhaps, starting from 0, 2 years, because you're going to go through the steps of network admin, senior network admin, and then finally network engineer. The key to learn here on number 3 is routing protocols. Most companies use OSPF or ERGRP, or combination of both. When you're a network engineer, you're going to be able to configure or manage BGP, Border Gateway Protocol. Some of the switching concepts to learn are VLANs, STP, which is spanning tree protocol. Yeah, spanning tree protocol. And then, of course, trunking. Number 4, network design and architecture. So learning about the types of network topologies, even from the previous 50, 60 years, not 50 years, let's say 30 years, because usually networks are probably 30 years, 40 years old, something like that. I think it was in the 70s or 80s they came about. You have the star, you have the mesh, bus, and ring networks. You want to learn about redundancy and scalability and reliability in a network, and the network types, LAN, WAN, MAN, WLAN, and VLAN. Number 5, network security. You want to learn about firewalls. You want to learn how VPNs work, ACLs, access control list. You want to learn what SSL does, TLS, IPsec, and the network security best practices. Number 6, wireless networking. The wireless networking standards are adopted or brought about by IEEE. And the current one is 802.11n, I believe. And it's good to know that. So wireless security as well. WPA2 is phasing out, and then WPA3 is coming in its place. A big one is wireless network design. So coverages, capacity planning. Number 7, cloud networking. This is a new one. So things like VPCs, Direct Connect, and VPN. Some of the hybrid cloud networking, which is connecting on-premise to cloud, on-premise network devices to the cloud. Some of the cloud providers to learn about are AWS and Azure. Those are the big ones out there. Number 8, network automation and scripting. Network programmability, automation techniques, scripting for network management using like Python, Bash, PowerShell. Number 9, monitoring and troubleshooting. Learning tools like Logic Monitor, learning network monitoring, troubleshooting techniques, when to use a ping, when to use a trace route, learning about network diagrams, learning what performance monitoring tools are out there, such as NetFlow and SNMP. That's not really a tool, but that's a protocol. Number 10, virtualization and container networking. So this would include VMware, this could virtual network functions, and FVs, software-defined networking, SDNs, containerized networking, such as Docker and Kubernetes. And some of the certifications to get on your way to be a network engineer are the entry level, of course, CompTIA Network Plus, followed by the Cisco CCNA And then the professional level, which is CCNP, Cisco CCNP, and the Juniper JNCIP. Now, the advanced network engineer usually aren't when you have a CCIE, so Cisco Certified Internet Network Expert, CCIE, if you're at that level certification, you're not a network engineer anymore. You're a senior network engineer, or maybe even a consultant for a company. And finally, VMware VCP, NV. These are some of the certifications that come along with being a network engineer. What you're seeing is included in the cloud networking, you have some of the network automation, and then you have the virtualization and container networking. So you have Docker, you have Amazon AWS, you have Azure, and you have scripting like Python or PowerShell or even Ansible. That's an automated tool. So what you're seeing is with network, not only do you have to know the fundamentals, but you're expected to know some of these other things. To include VMware, you might even need to know how to log into VMware or to even configure VMware. Some of the distributed network switches in VMware. One thing that's not listed in this talk is storage. Storage, a big one. As a network engineer, you have to know how to be able to log into Brocade, some of the Brocade devices, and some of the Cisco MDS. I don't know what it's called now, but it used to be MDS. Basically, what you're doing is you're taking that Floki or fiber connection to present a SAN or LUN to a user, to a data store, from vCenter to a data store. So you might have your vCenter in one data rack, and then you might have a storage in another data rack. Well, you have to be able to connect the two. You have to be able to connect the data stores. The vCenter has to be able to talk to the data store essentially, and they're not just going to use switches. They're going to use a fabric switch essentially to be able to do that. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next one.